Hello friends, I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome back to my channel. You can see we have a bit of a different background today because I am in fact in Bali, Indonesia. I recently moved to Bali. If you're looking for more content on day-to-day life in Bali, I'm documenting on my vlog channel, or there's also my Travel with Zoey channel if you are interested in more travel stuff. So it's been a while since my last ayahuasca ceremony. Normally what I do is I record my journey right after I get home, maybe like a week or two after integrating, and then go into the story time. But my life's been a bit of a whirlwind, of course, moving across the world, and there was two ceremonies. So these last two ceremonies were two of the most profound that I've ever had with ayahuasca. I would say comparable to my first journeys. How I'm judging that as a person is based on how I felt afterwards. Because after completing these two ceremonies, I know that I am no longer called to the medicine right now in my life anyways. I'm sure I will return one day because I love ayahuasca and I feel so strongly about it and feel like Madre will always be a part of my life. But these two ceremonies really brought a lot of things full circle that I had been struggling with through my entire life that really came to the surface at the end of 2020. So without further ado, let's get into my last ayahuasca story times. All right, so this journey has a little bit of a preface that I want to share because it just highlights the power of synchronicities and knowing when it's time to be called to the medicine, trusting guides to lead you there. What you are seeking is seeking you. So over a year ago, I think it was at the beginning of February, I walked into a coffee shop with my life coach because we were studying for an additional certification. We were working in the coffee shop in Toronto on Bloor Street, and Lana, who I do the Modern Psychedelics podcast with, now we're great friends, Lana had walked in. I'd never met her before. She was at this coffee shop with her friend Bash, and they were meeting up there to catch up to talk about ayahuasca because she had recently started healing with plant medicine. Lana came up to me in the coffee shop and she's like, "Hi, are you Zoey?" Yes, I'm Zoey. And she thanked me for creating my ayahuasca content. And behind the scenes, not the YouTube scenes, behind the YouTube scenes in my real life, I really came into this chapter struggling once I came back from Italy. Toronto was most definitely a healing chapter. If you guys have followed along on my YouTube journey, you know that there was a lot of deep, profound healing that was happening, and that was the theme of this chapter. And I was really struggling with my identity when it came to YouTube, when it came to moving across the world, and I was shifting into this new career of becoming a certified professional life coach. I just was like, I hope that my content is helping people because I don't know, right? I've had this like wall of resistance or not fully recognizing the value within myself. And Lana had just said, you know, thank you so much for creating your ayahuasca content because it helped me come to the medicine, it helped me understand more, just really hit me like in the heart space and just gave me such a beautiful, kind, genuine compliment from her heart space. And I felt that. Lana and I exchanged Instagrams and then we became friends, and then, you know, Modern Psychedelics has happened, which if you guys haven't subscribed or followed, that is a podcast that I co-host with Lana. So anyways, as I said, Lana was at this coffee shop with Bash. So come full circle, almost a year later, the three of us are going to do ayahuasca together. This was my first time meeting Bash. Like, I think I maybe waved to him at the coffee shop or something like that, but it was really incredible that this synchronicity of all of us met essentially at the same time randomly in a coffee shop in Toronto. And just before I'm about to leave Toronto, we all come together to do plant medicine together. And this was Bash's first time healing with ayahuasca, so it was just really special. He's just such a beautiful person, so I was really happy to meet him and get to know him better this weekend too. I had had a break from the medicine since my birthday. So I had my 29th birthday ceremonies, and then, so this was in March. Time is just flying. So this was in March. And what was beautiful about this time going back to ayahuasca and going to see the shaman and being at such a beautiful healing place was that I wasn't afraid Like I had been afraid of ayahuasca before. I always know that the journey ends in love, and I always trust it, and I would never back out of a ceremony if I was already there, unless intuitively I felt like I wasn't called. But there's always this next level of courage or bravery that you have to muster up, because you never know what's gonna happen. Each ceremony is different. So I was finally, for the first time, not afraid. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna purge this weekend. Like last time we were here, I had a little purge. I feel like there's more. I'm gonna do it this weekend. So purging, if you guys aren't familiar, something that can happen in ayahuasca, where you vomit or your body just naturally or wants to eject emotional trauma. Emotional trauma is what vomiting during an ayahuasca ceremony is. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm ready for it. Like I'm going in, I'm gonna drink all the ayahuasca, I'm gonna have, you know, 2 cups, and I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do whatever needs to be done and heal, like once and for all. And so, yeah, so we go there, we're like ready. The shaman are setting sacred space, and they invite us up individually to be smudged, to be saged, to be cleansed energetically, and then they serve kuranga, or hape, or rape, also is called. And they had just recently visited the Amazon and brought back this new special kuranga, which had a lot of cacao in it, it had a bit of mint in it, and they said it's great for being a heart opener. And before I sat down to do the kuranga, one of the shamans, she said, there's been such a huge shift in you, Zoey. And I was like, I feel it. I feel like something big is here. I came with the intention, heal my heart. Because as long as I can remember, I've always felt this energetic shield, like literally a shield, like a block, a force field in front of my heart that has resisted love from me, and I know that. Like, those of you who understand energy and are familiar with that language probably know what I'm talking about, but each time that I've gone to ayahuasca, I've asked, clear this block around my heart. Like, I want to love. I have so much love to give. I know that it's within me, and there's something that's blocking me, that's beyond me, that I can't get at. Like, it's even making me emotional thinking about it, because I just worked so hard on trying to remove this, doing all the work that I could, everything I felt called to do. But I just felt like, why can't I love? Why can't I let people in? Why can't I feel as deeply as I know that I can feel? And so I sat down to do this kuranga. Of course, like the intention was already there, and the shaman blew it up my nose. And instantly, I've never had this experience with hape before, and I've sat with hape hundreds of times. I literally felt that shield, that energetic shield in front of my chest obliterate, burst into like a million pieces, shattered. All of a sudden, my heart, like I took my breath away. All of a sudden, I just could feel. I could just feel all the love. So I like made my way back to my mattress, and I put on my eye mask, like we put the eye masks on to do our inner journeys, and I just started weeping, crying, and I've never had that type of release with hape. I have cried a little bit with hape, tears, different type of energy purges or releases, but never anything so profound. And in my mind, I was crying because all I could think about was, I love my dad so much. My dad has saved my life. Like, I don't know where I would be without my dad. I don't even think that I would be alive without my dad. Like, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm just like, I love him so much. Like, he'll never know, because I could never put into words, like, what divine perfection I think that he is, and the job that he's done raising me, and like, everything. Sorry, it's bringing up all the emotions. And it's a little bit breezy outside. Maybe that's the universe's confirmation giving me a big hug. And then I started thinking about my stepmom, and I was like, wow, I am so incredibly grateful for her. Like, wow, she's shown me so much. I so deeply love her. And I was just like letting it all in. And then I thought about my little brother, and I was like, oh, I love Drake to pieces, my little brother. Like, I love him so much. I just want the absolute best for him, and I'll continue to do this work for my family. Like, I love him so much. And then I thought about my stepbrother, who I'd actually had a falling out with earlier in 2020, and I just was like, I love him so much. Came to like forgiveness of any of these stupid grudge that we like had on each other or whatever. And it was just done. Like, my heart was just opening and acknowledging all of the love that I had in my life, that I have in my life. Like, my family is just so beautiful. And yeah, then the shaman come in after they've like saged everyone and given everyone kuranga. They're like, okay, time to drink. I'm like, I just had a full-blown journey. Like, I just got everything that I actually intended for from kuranga. Like, I kind of feel like I'm good, but I'm here. I know that I'm meant to be here, and now that I've opened myself up, let's go to work. Let's go do some deep inner work. So I take the first drink of ayahuasca. I had actually brought up a little photo of me when I was younger, me holding these fluffy dogs that I found when I was camping, like real dogs. This woman let me like take a photo with her dogs. And I'm like holding these fluffy dogs, and I just looked at that photo and I just connected to the inner child, and I'm like, this is for younger Zoey. Whatever she needs now to open her heart, to clear the resistance, the blocks around love and abundance, just whatever she needs, let's do it. And I drank the medicine, went back to my mattress and lied down, and of course the music is so beautiful. All of a sudden, you know, 45 minutes or an hour or so later, you really start to feel the medicine kick in. I just felt her present herself in my body and in my mind, and what she started to do visually was she started to take inventory on my memories. So she was pulling out memories of my past, mostly to do with my mother. And she was showing me all of the times in which I made something my mother did mean something negative about me, such as I am undesirable, I am unlovable, I am always meant to be rejected, I am like basically all of these things. I am unworthy, I'm unimportant. There was many that she was pulling out, showing me what I made them mean, neutralizing them, and putting them back in. One example that I remember was that there was this memory where I was younger and my mother wouldn't often cook for me. And so I was cooking for myself at a very young age. I was packing my own lunch and, you know, trying to figure all that stuff out as a young child. And I had asked her if she could buy me some vegetables, because the things that were in the cupboard that I could reach or like that were in there was like Kraft Dinner or like Mr. Noodles, and I never liked that type of food as a child, and I knew that it wasn't healthy. I knew that all I wanted was vegetables, and I asked her for it, and there was always this like courage or bravery that I had to muster up before I went to talk to her to ask her about anything, because I always knew that most of the time she responded quite reactively, and she had this response, something like, how dare you tell me what I bring into this house, or like, you just requesting all these expensive things, like, who do you think you are? And you know, as a child, like I must have been like, honestly, like 6 or 7, something like that, and that's how I was being spoken to. And I feel for that younger version of myself, like, you know, and no one deserves that, right? But it was like I was learning about all these ways in which I made the things that she did to me mean everything about me. And what ayahuasca was showing me that I had this extremely distorted self-perception. Like, basically, I haven't known who I am. That at that time, Zoey had no idea who she was even still. No idea of the light that I carry, no idea of the love that I have, the value that I provide, because of what happened to me when I was, sorry, I don't know why I'm like, the energy here is a lot too in Ubud. And I just felt everything that child felt and neutralized it all, and just was like, okay, well, show me who I am then. She just kept doing the work, neutralizing the past so that I would know how to better navigate my future, getting to know who I am, not the narratives that have been like so subconsciously plugged in and have been leading my life this far. And then as she kept pulling these memories out, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get up on all fours and I'm just gonna purge this out. Because I still had this idea that I was going in to purge, right? To eject all this stuff from me. So I was like, okay, mother, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I was lying down, I'm like, I'm gonna get up, take off my face mask, I'm gonna get out on all fours over my bucket, and I'm just gonna purge all this out. So like, let's just get it going and let's do this. And she's like, no, my child, that is not what's happening here. There is nothing for you to let go of. This is not the time for purging. And I was not even nauseous, anything like that. I just decided that like, okay, I've got these bad memories, let's get rid of them. Okay, but she was like, no, my child, you need to recognize that there's nothing bad about you. There's nothing bad within you. You've spent your entire life searching for all the things that you need to fix because that's what someone, your mother specifically, made you feel like you were broken. And you've just been searching and searching and searching to fix yourself. And there was nothing for you to purge. That's not what this is about. So I was like, okay, so if I'm not gonna purge, maybe I should go get the second cup. I was still trying to go deeper, trying to make something else happen, not recognizing the full lesson that was being shown to me of like, there is nothing more to fix. You are love. We are neutralizing the past so that you can live an abundant, loving future. So anyways, I struggled for a little bit, debating about the second cup. Decided not to. Like in my mind, I sent like a telepathic message to the shaman, and I was like, if it's meant for me to have the second cup, I'm ready. Because I've done that before, and they've come and given me the second cup. And yeah, they didn't. And so I just like lied there debating. And the next day we were in a sharing circle. And I said, you know, what was really being shown to me was that I have a very distorted self-perception of myself. I have lived my life not knowing who I am because I made the actions of others mean things about me from such a young age that that's been the narratives that have been playing out in my life, like the unlovable, the undesirable, just simply not knowing who I am. The light that I provide, the value that I provide, the love that I am. And I shared, I'm like bawling, I'm like, okay, here we go again. Like, you know, it's so beautiful being in ceremony and being in sharing circle, just being able to share the depths of yourself with essentially strangers. There is something so profoundly healing about that. Each group that I've ever been in who feels called to share something or who does share, it always provides heavy lifting for others. As I'm sure those of you listening right now are getting something from this, something healing, something awakening, something shifting. That's my intention anyways in sharing this, because you know, it's not easy telling you about the depths of my soul, the things that I feel insecure about, the ways in which I sabotage myself. So then we go up to take the first cup of medicine. And I went up there and I just said, you know, this is for my family now. I recognize that I've done so much work here. This is for my family. This is for my ancestors. This is for the ones that I love. I took the medicine and I went down and lied back down. It kicked in a lot faster the second night because there wasn't much food in my system. I had already had a medicine the night before, so it kicked in quite powerfully and quite quickly. Started to have visuals, I am light, I am love, and there was some philosophical learnings that were present around the new earth, what is happening, what is awareness, the great beyond the void, like showing me who I am and like what we all are and what this all means to better integrate what I've been learning, who I am, the role that I play. Then so I'm lying there, the visuals are profound, I'm definitely feeling the medicine in my body, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go get myself a second cup because we're gonna try to purge tonight. Again, I was like still stuck on this like second cup. So I make my way up to the shaman and I was like, okay, I'm ready for my second cup. And they're like, no, darling, we're looking at you energetically right now. You are perfect. You don't need any more medicine. right now. She's working with you. You're feeling it. You are divine perfection. There's nothing to fix. I feel that in my heart. I was like, oh, I am perfect. Like, I am like right where I need to be. There's nothing more to fix. I don't need to search. I don't need to search in the second cup. I don't need to search in all these ways. And what the medicine was really showing me is that you've spent your entire life focusing on things that are wrong with you. It's time to focus on everything that's right and beautiful about you. And then, so the shaman wouldn't give me medicine, but they did offer me kuranga hape, so I could not decline this. So I went and sat there, and they blew the kuranga up my nose, the same heart opener hape. Didn't fully have that obliteration of the shield because the shield was gone. But I went down and I lied back down on my mattress, and my bestafar, my grandfather, he came and he like put his hand on my shoulder and he just sat with me for the rest of the night, just like sending me love and showing me that I was always guided. I've always been guided. And also Archangel Michael came in and just started offering me more love, and I received it. I was receiving all of this beautiful love from my bestafar, from Archangel Michael, and just like really letting it all in. Letting it sink into a depth that I'd never, ever, ever felt before. And they both sat there with me, or like Archangel Michael was standing, but my bestafar was kneeling beside me because I was lying down. And I just felt all this divine love, and I knew to a deeper level how guided I was and how beautiful this next chapter was going to be, because the message that kept coming to me was that your heart is healed now. Your heart knows how to love in a healthy way. You have not given yourself yet the opportunity to show your heart that you trust your heart by going out into the world. Yes, I have physically been locked away in a box for the last year in Toronto. And now what they were showing me and what the medicine was showing me was like, it is time. You can trust your heart. You can trust your heart. It's time to give your heart the opportunity and yourself the opportunity to go out into the world and see the reflection of the abundance of which you are. It's time to see the fruits of your labor. It's time to go out into the world and live your life now. Your work here has been beautiful, and your work here is closing for a while. And you know, never say never. I don't know how long. Like, I do imagine I will be called again in the future because it's something that I hold so deeply in my heart. But if I'm not called, I won't do it. But the gratitude that I have for this medicine, the gratitude that I have for the work, for myself, the work that I have done, the depths of myself that I have sunk to, that I have, you know, cried out, like very much cried out all over my YouTube channel and everything, is like, to be in this place and now, like to be in Bali, living my dream. Everything around me is so abundant, and it's just like what the medicine told me, was that this is time now. This is your time now. This is your time to see the reflection of that of which you are, to welcome in the abundance that is yours, that is you. And so, yeah, I am so grateful. We had such a beautiful closing ceremony, and the shaman were so, I just love them so much. They are earth angels, and they will never know the extent to which they have helped me, empowered me, and guided me on this journey. Like, whew, look at my heart space, it's just cracking open. But yeah, they had this beautiful like going away breakfast, candles and stuff for Lana and I, and they gave me some of that amazing hape and a beautiful necklace to keep me safe and protected on my journey. Lana and I were packing up our stuff at the end after breakfast, and we went back into the ceremony space. It was empty, like everyone's stuff is cleared out, everyone's gone. And I just burst into tears, like uncontrollably. I don't do that. Like, I don't really do that, but I just was feeling like my heart, like that shield was obliterated. My heart was wide open, is still pretty, like, no, not pretty, it is very wide open right now. That's why I'm probably crying all over this video again. Whew. But it was so healing, being in that space, remembering how I was when I first arrived in ceremony at the end of 2020, the weeks after that, then back again in the new year. I saw my growth, I saw my transformation. I just had this deep, profound gratitude still due for that beautiful healing place. And I was just letting it all in. Lana and I are bawling there. Bless Bash for waiting for us to have our little cry sesh and say our thank yous, our goodbyes, and then move on. And it was a beautiful farewell. If you're looking for more details on this journey, Lana and I actually did a specific podcast episode on this, because after this, Lana moved to Vancouver at the same time that I moved to Indonesia. So such a beautiful parting after meeting each other in a coffee shop. Because the reason why I know about these shaman and got invited into the tribe was because of Lana, was because of using my voice, because of sharing my journey with all of you. So in that sense, use that as a sign. If there's something you feel compelled to talk about, if there's a truth you want to share, if there's just something that you want to do, use your voice and just do it. Because you never know what abundance is waiting for you, right? Welcome it all in. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this is like a little bit delayed, but it feels best right now to have done this video in the full circle of being here in Bali and really welcoming in the abundance, like welcoming in the love that is the universe into me. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I love you. Bye.